Evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Den. As we go into the season, there are a few things to take note of. One, we are now breaking away officially from the Chicago by Night module adaptation. Everything else is here is free-formed improv. So if you notice any roughness or lack of fluidity, bear with us. We're still kind of catching our legs now that we're out in open waters, so to speak. Additionally, as a new fancy situation, would be something we want to try to get the audience more involved. You'll notice on our screen, there are a couple new counters. These counters represent two unique things that you all now have the opportunity to include. As you watch our stream, you'll notice that you gather channel points, or in our case, we call them embers. After you reach a certain amount, you can redeem those embers for blood dice. These blood dice you can choose either to give to the coterie, which then at once per session, each of them can try and pull from that pool of blood dice to hopefully augment their roll to give them a better chance of success. However, the caveat is, well, they're blood dice. So it gives a greater possibility of catastrophic and unforeseen situations to happen if messy criticals or bestial failures come about. So, that also goes vice versa for me. If you wish to add a challenge to our coterie, really side with their rivals and enemies, you can instead give those dice to me to pull once per session. And we can see what kind of drama happens. Regardless which side you choose, it is up to you to decide. All you have to do is redeem your embers, and I will go ahead and update them as I see them. As usual, introduce themselves for those that are new and or returning.
Back again as always. My name is Bradley Huey. However, my real name is, of course, Grayson Holland, the Tremere, hoping my building doesn't burn to the ground.
I am Acer Zord. Not looking forward to being in the spotlight, so if y'all can just ignore me once again, that'd be great.
Hey everybody, I'm Morgan Caldwell, and I play Crescent, the La Sombra.
And as always, I am your reverent but benevolent storyteller. My name is Peter Needham. Let's go ahead and continue our vampire story as the rain continues to just mist lightly over the city. People go about their daily lives as usual, unknowing that right beneath the surface, monsters lie in the shadows, pulling the strings on their ordinary lives, making decisions from behind the scenes that inadvertently affect them for years and generations to come, but are blind to it all the same. It's at this time that one Duskborn, as usual, arises early. Acer, go ahead and make your evening's rouse check.
Great signs to come. Success.
Absolutely beautiful. The beast stays quiet. Uncharacteristically quiet.
What? Nothing to say today? No sarcastic remarks? No, I'm gonna get out of the cage, or...
You just hear emptiness. A quiet musing.
Huh. That's new, I guess. And I will just get up and just do my daily routine.
You definitely take the time to get ready like you normally do, and of course your lab is still a mess from the previous evening. What still startles you is the footprints that left your space. Barefooted, no shoes, petite, the glass still broken on the floor from the previous day. It sends an unnerving chill through your spine, and it's not till you get out of the shower and begin to get dressed that you happen to just look over and notice your computer screen is on. It was off the night before.
That's not good. And I'm going to go over to my system, kind of wiggle the mouse a bit. Is it logged in?
It is. It is on the open desktop of your page. It appears there are several tabs still left open.
That's worse, and I'm going to spread out the tabs really quick, and I'm going to see which ones were opened.
The first thing that pops up from the main desktop is the camera feeds to the entire facility. Additionally, the video archives that you always have backed up are also open, as well as employee files, patient files, and the payroll that you use to fund your cryptocurrency to fund the facility.
Fuck. I'm going to quickly open up the command prompt, and I want to go into the log and see if this was a hack from the outside. I want to see if they were smart enough to delete their presence from the log.
You open the command prompt and begin scanning through everything, and you're almost disheartened as it is blank. But after a moment, if your computer thinking, there is a single line of text where it does show an IP. However, right underneath that IP, and as a separate command, you see in hexadecimal code, "Nice to meet you."
Okay. That's interesting.
It seems someone may have touched into your system. I was expecting you to find it.
All right. I'll bite. And I'm going to open up a program. I'm going to input his IP. That program's automatically going to search it, connect to it, and it's going to open up a chat window. And if he's on the computer, he will see it immediately as it opens up in front of everything else. I'm just going to type in, "All right, you have my attention. Who are you?"
Go ahead and make intelligence plus larceny.
I don't think I have anything until larceny.
You're supposed to be a hacker. I thought you did have larceny.
Well, I'm a white hat hacker, which means I focus more on breaking in rather than defending my system.
He's no Aiden Pierce, basically.
Exactly. That's going to be 2 successes.
2 successes. It's not extremely difficult. For as you open this chat window, a screen share actually pops up. Instead of a response, you are given direct control over a user interface. There's a password that needs to be required.
He gave me control of his interface?
Seems so. It's requesting that you enter a password to log in.
Interesting.
With 2 successes and a larceny, how would you attempt to proceed, Acer?
I don't know what he's up to. I don't know why he gave me control over his system so long as I can put in his password, which I don't know. You said the message was written in hexadecimal?
It was.
I'm going to try putting that in.
You quickly type in the hexadecimal code. You hit enter. Desktop opens. And on the desktop, it is just an empty black screen. You almost think that your computer turned off suddenly, with a panic. But you look for a second, and right in the center of the screen is a single video file.
Underneath, with my foot, I'm going to wrap it around the power cord. And if I feel like whatever's going to happen is going to dig into my computer, I'm just going to pull my foot forward and unplug the power to my tower.
Okay. I'll make a note of that.
Fuck it, I'll play the video.
You open the video and it full screens. Appears to be an empty room for a few seconds before you hear a door opening, closing. There's a heavy echo within the room as the footsteps clock across the floor. It sounds like leather shoes on tile. For you see a single man step into frame and sit down. He's wearing a very tight black sweater that comes up to his mid-neck. Very tan complexion with a bit of a goatee, beard, and sideburns combo. Shaved at the sides, heads kind of coiffed at the front, dark black hair, piercing gold eyes, and a slight smile as he runs his fingers through his beard, looking at the camera. Hello, Acer. Don't worry about me. You wouldn't be able to respond even if you tried, as this is a recording. I just wanted to introduce myself. You see, you did notice me, but I noticed you at the Elysium. And I have heard of the Prince's decree. I'm very interested to see your first order of business, and I thought I should try to get to know you better. So I'll be honest, your system's good. It's very rare to find another Camarilla with such hardy tech and skill behind him. I gotta be honest, I wish I could have found out more before your system locked me out. I was impressed. I'm not going to tell you my name. I'm not going to tell you where I am. But I know where you are. I know who you are. And I want to see what you do. Welcome to the neighborhood. Voice of the Thin Bloods. Hopefully we get to know each other soon. Oh, and don't even bother trying to find where this is. This is being recorded on a secure laptop in a unimpressive location. There's nothing on here but this video's file. And once this video is done playing, this actual laptop is set to destroy itself. Not to worry, I won't touch your pretty little system. And I do not suggest you try to hide from me.
Clever fuck.
Regardless, I hope you watch your back. Let me just say I'll be the first to warn you. Camarilla can be a wonderful, but dangerous place. You are now in a very unique position among your kind. And speaking as a Ventru, this is a very rare and opportune moment. And I think we could help each other. If you're interested, try and find me. If not, don't worry about it. Have a good evening. Stay safe. I'm sure I'll hear from you again soon. He just nods as the screen goes dark and immediately the connection's gone.
Just to confirm my suspicions, I'm going to try to connect to that IP address one more time.
You get a barrage of error messages that show it cannot find the user, as the IP is invalid.
Great. Another spear is in the war zone. And he just kind of untangles his foot from the power cord. And the entire time he was checking to make sure nothing was being downloaded, nothing was being touched in the system.
Go ahead and make a technology plus wits.
I'm going to use a willpower because I need to get rid of a critical.
You may do so, or at least try to.
Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 successes. You are 100% certain as you rapidly check through your BIOS, checking every little thing on what's been touched and what has not been touched by this strange visitor. Nothing's amiss. There is no leftover software that you could discern. The only things that you could see is a lot of the private information about your haven domain and those who reside within it has been touched, possibly duplicated. You're not entirely sure. The one thing that does concern you the most, though, is the recordings. As you would know, those video recordings are never deleted. They go all the way back, as you constantly record everything.
Great. And with that, he is going to shut his computer down, but in addition, he's going to, as soon as it shuts down safely, he's going to pull the power cord from the back. Okay. We have a problem. And he's going to go into his phone, and for the first time in a long time, he's going to turn off all the cameras in the facility.
And as you go through your remote connection on your device, shutting down the visual systems of your facility, at least of yours and Grayson's, as you're in this haven, in this desperate moment, what do you think about?
I'm thinking this isn't good. He now has information on the people, the employees, and the structure itself. He has 2 or 3 months worth of footage. That's not good. He's definitely in a not full-blown panic mode as of right now, but he's into this paranoid mode.
And so, with this going through your mind, what do you do with the rest of your time before Crescent and Acer wake up? Sorry, Crescent and Grayson.
What I would like to do is I would like to take a look at those footprints really quick, and I would like to record the width, the length, if it's a shoe print or an actual footprint.
Go ahead and make a... This could be... Let's say it's an intelligence plus science.
Okay. Edits anything at all. I would also like to see if the powder from being stepped on has left any, I guess, toe prints. Like
Same roll.
Okay. So that's 3.
3 successes. No toe prints. Looks almost as if someone had taken a stamp and just onto the ground, or footprints be. But they seem to be petite feet. Probably female, if you had to guess. No shoes. Barefoot. Very casual stride. Doesn't look like someone was running or sneaking, as it is a full toe to heel print. And the footprints themselves would have led outside of your room as you saw the previous evening. Older child, younger adult, hard to say.
Okay.
The footprints do get thinner, as obviously whatever substance was on the bottom of these feet were worn away, but then all of a sudden there's a harsh line, as if the footprints themselves vanish beneath a wall, but there's nothing there. The hallway is free and there's nothing interpassing it, but it's almost cut off perfectly in half, as if it just stepped off into a staircase or in a different direction.
Fuck. 3 things to deal with. Oh, the dirty cop. 4. I'm loving today.
We'll move on over to Grayson and Crescent. As you both awaken, go ahead and give me your evening rouse checks.
I do not get hungrier.
I do not get hungrier.
Beautiful. The beasts and the rabidness within yourselves continue to stay satiated for now. Let me go ahead, each of you, tell me how you get ready for this evening.
I would like to make sure that I have my phone on me, and as I'm getting dressed, today is definitely going to be more work ethic. So jeans, t-shirt, maybe a nice vest, or let's say a button up to go over it, the short sleeves as well. Make sure I have my gloves in my back pocket. I also want to make sure, actually, I want to go over to my computer, and I would like to send an email to the mayor.
I see. And what is the contents of this email?
Start off simple, something along the lines of, good evening, old friend. How are we doing today? I just had a quick thing I needed to discuss with you. At your earliest convenience. No rush. A little bit of catching up, then a tiny bit of business. It's always good hearing from you. I hope everything is going well. Looking forward to the next election. You have my vote as always. Your dear friend, Grayson Holland of my facility. I'm going to send.
An email from the ESSC is sent off. You pull away from your chair as you continue prepping, getting ready before, ding, you hear a small message from your computer very quickly.
He's getting quicker. Fair enough. I'm going to finish buttoning up my shirt and stuffing my gloves in my pocket as I make sure my glasses are nice and straight, and I may move back over to my computer.
Pop it open. It is an official letterhead from the mayor himself of Seattle. Do you pop it open?
Wonderful. I will give that a look-see.
You open it up before you, and it is shows the official letterhead of the mayor. You always know it's him specifically, not a secretary, as it's usually labeled as such. As it responds, "Dear Mr. Holland, it has been some time since I've heard from you. I always have time for you and your interesting conversations. I am a bit busy this evening, but I'm sure I can move some things around. If you need to meet me direly, I say you could probably have a free time for about an hour, around 9 o'clock tonight. If that works for you, please feel free to stop by. If not, be sure to just go ahead and respond which would be an appropriate time for you, and I'll do my best to make sure that I stay open for you. After all, I always admire your support, and you are a fabulous pillar of this community, and I would hate to do anything that could infringe upon those needs. Yours always, Mayor Dimitri.
Just send a quick email back. Always a delight talking to you, and hopefully I will get to see you at 9 o'clock tonight.
It is sent. The appointment you can probably assume has been made post-haste.
Fair enough. Now that I have everything ready, remembering the previous night, I think I'm going to make my way over to Crescent's room.
You begin navigating through the hidden passages or through the open areas, as much as you can at least.
I will stay in the regular hallways for now, making it look like I'm just heading for the chapel in general.
Fair enough. You make your way towards the chapel, looking around. Go ahead and make a Wits Plus awareness for me.
Okay. That is 1 success.
1 success. Walking through your facility, things seem, to your suspicions, in order. You see earlier evening passergoers of treatments coming through and here and there. You see patients walking in groups, enjoying their evening free time. You happen to notice Alex, one of your younger security guards. Not a typical route, but maybe Rudy has changed things as he tips his hat to you. No smile or real acknowledgement, but he does acknowledge you as you pass by, kind of drawing a finger along the wall every now and then, lackadaisically, as he seems to be making his rounds as usual. Though, normally you see him at the guards gate around this time. You might need to check in with Rudy about that later to see if anything had been changed without your knowledge.
And of course I have my radio on me, I'd assume.
Mm-hmm.
If I have any time, I'm going to as I walk down the hallway, I'm going to just radio test, see if Rudy answers me. And Rudy, are you there? This is Grayson.
It's a brief moment for you. Yeah, what up, boss?
Hey, doing well. So, just a quick question. We changed the route for Alex? Isn't he supposed to be in the guardhouse?
No, I haven't changed anything. Let me check here. There's a brief pause. Nope. Looks like I do have him in guardhouse duty. Maybe he had to use a bathroom or something. Let me check 1 sec. Pause again. You hear off on the other channels, "Hey, guardhouse, come in." There's a long pause. "Guardhouse, this is Rudy. Come on." As you hear Rihanna. "Sorry, Rudy. Sorry, I was dealing with somebody at the front. They were lost. What's up?" "Hey, isn't Alex supposed to be there? Why are you doing the guardhouse, Rihanna? You're supposed to be making rounds." "Oh, Alex asked if we could switch. He said he was getting real tired just sitting in this box all evening. So I thought I'd let him go stretch his legs." "Ah, well, next time you clear it with me first. I have you guys in specific places for a reason." "Yeah, okay, boss. Yeah, sorry. Didn't think it was that big of a deal." It really isn't, but I gotta keep these things organized. My bad." Rudy kind of pops back over to your private channel. You get all that, boss?
I did. I appreciate that. Just have a little discussion with you later. Not to this. This is more of a different matter. Just something maybe happening towards the end of the month. But yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit later. But thanks for checking in. Just wanted to see how things are going.
Over and out.
Over and out. I will carry on my way.
We'll go ahead and move over to Crescent. As you awaken Crescent, how do you start your evening?
Probably with bath first. Just the water would help calm me down. And then getting out. And I'm going to look at the record player that Acer got me. And I'm going to look at one of the boxes I have yet to unpack. And kind of just connect the two a little bit. And then pull out an old record that I had been saving for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And just pop that in. Test it out.
Pop in the old record. I believe it's from one of the older Red albums, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
You pop it in, and it takes you a few minutes to kind of figure out how it works. It's not like your old turntable from in your mortal days. However, after a few tries, being very careful not to scratch the record, mind you, you manage to get it hooked up, wind it up, and begin playing. Feel a certain sense of peace come from the music. However, as your music is playing, Crescent, what are you doing?
Just getting dressed and getting ready for the day, kind of humming along with the music. And I'll probably take a peek outside the window because it's nice and dark now.
You pull back the blinds, and something jars you as you look out. There's a handprint on the window. The condensation from the bath, steam rolling in, causing the window fog ever so slightly.
I'll kind of compare it to my own hand.
Your hand is bigger, but just barely. But what strikes you as odd, the handprint is on the outside of the glass. And you look through the glass, you are on the second story of this facility. And there are no ladders or rain gutters that would make it easily to climb.
Okay. That's a little freaky. All right. I'm going to take a step away from that for a second. And then after a moment, I'm going to pull the curtain back, see if it's still there.
As you step away and close the curtain, you wait for a moment. And as you hesitate to open again, you hear on the other side of the window. Do you pull back the blinds again?
Yeah.
You pull back the blinds. The handprint's gone. Just foggy glass. And you hear almost like the sound of something rubbing against wet glass. That slight, jarring, jagged squeak. And as you watch, you see within that fog on the outside, once again, right, slowly in letters, jagged and slanted. I see you. The glass shatters into your face, letting freezing cold in just in time for Grayson to hear the sound of glass shattering from Crescent's room.
I am jerking open, and I'm turning on Sense the Unseen immediately.
Go ahead and let me double check for the rolls for Sense the Unseen. Go ahead and make a Wits plus Aspect for me, please.
What did we decide was the stat number for Aspects? My Aspects again?
Your Aspects level is at 1, as you only have one
okay.
level in it, so that would be 1 die.
Right. Okay, got it. Okay, I have a crit.
4 successes.
Yes.
As you, Crescent, you jump back in fear as you hear the door slam open right behind you. You spin around to see Grayson charge in, eyes aglow with that greenish, goldish glow as he begins looking at the room. Grayson, you immediately see Crescent's blinds billowing open at the slight storm that is outside, glass shattered inward. As you look into the window, you see it just in time to see a very faint, light blue translucent woman in undergarments, head tilted to one side, mouth agape, throat ripped out from one side to the jugular. The head twitches and looks at you. And just pulls back into the darkness, suddenly gone.
Shit. Damn, Crescent, where are you?
What was that?
I'm staring at that part, and I'm going to go over to the glass as I kind of, put a hand on Crescent's shoulder. I haven't seen one of those in a while, I will admit.
One of what?
Unfortunately, Crescent, we are going to start this evening off with a haunting.
As we will make it official. Unfortunately, coterie, your haven has now acquired a new flaw. It is indeed haunted.
All right, I'll get the talisman. Someone get the holy water, salt, maybe some iron. I've seen where this goes. I know how to do this.
We're in a church. I have a crucifix.
Aha! Perfect.
Shit.
All right.
Hate when these things wander
Why?
in.
What?
It may have attached to one of us, and damn it, that's going to haunt the fucking facility. God.
Have you dealt with this before?
Dealt with it? No, There's a reason I don't go near the graveyards very much.
Okay.
A lot of talkers. Okay, I need to write another letter of my master to see if he knows anything about dispelling them. Right. Are you okay?
I'm I'm digesting this right now.
Have you never... Oh, you probably haven't. Have you seen them before?
I mean, not really. I've heard stories.
Right.
So what do we do?
I get in contact with my sire, and I ask him if he knows anybody or knows a way either getting rid of that or exercising it or protecting us against it.
An exorcism.
Yes. I tell you what, I'll stay here with you, and you finish up. I'll keep an eye out just in case she decides to break another part of my facility.
Well, luckily that was my only window. I'm pretty much done. I was just...
Take your time. Take your time. Relax. We have a lot of things we need to discuss tonight.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
I'll pull out my phone and message Acer just to let him know. We're awake. Had a little run-in. You're not going to believe it, but you were right about the thing in your lab. Send him an emoji of a tombstone and a ghost.
Your phone does go off very quickly, Acer. As you heard the entire incident, including the glass shatter.
You're just going to see your phone vibrate as Acer's calling you.
Yeah, for a hacker, he likes to not text a lot, and I'm going to talk and put him on speaker.
How close are you to Crescent?
Stepping a few paces away from Crescent.
I'm going to turn down my record player.
Okay, first and foremost, is that red?
Is what red?
Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'll figure it out later. Okay.
Did I hear that?
You're close enough where you can hear it, yes.
Yes!
All right, we're going to discuss that later. Okay, secondly, are you saying that we are haunted?
I don't know. Would you like me to re-ask the blue wisp of the dead woman when she broke the glass, or would you like to just believe me?
Okay.
She also wrote on the glass before she broke it.
Did she? Oh, what did she write?
I see you.
I'm assuming that's glitch. Just going to reiterate. It doesn't come through well. It's electronics. All I hear is...
Right. Grayson,
Right.
Can you tell him? Yeah.
She said, it wrote, I see you.
Okay, so the ghost sees us. Awesome. All right, you know what? That's fine. I'm not freaking out. It's not like I've had a day. You know what? I've seen Supernatural. I know what to do. We just need salt and iron, right? Right. Okay, let's get some salt and iron.
Are you talking about that old show?
Which one? Ghost Adventures?
No. That was a different one. You know what? It doesn't matter. Point is, they did something like this. We just need some salt and an iron stick. I think we got this.
Look,
I don't think it's going to work.
Acer.
Again, with the static.
Acer, she's... Long story short, I'm going to send another letter to my sire. He is also my clan, so he will probably know a few things or know somebody that can help us get rid of or send her on her way.
Grayson?
Yes.
We also have a witch in the facility. I don't know if that helps. I haven't really seen talk much about spirits.
Right.
The shot?
Totally forgot. We do have a witch in here.
We're bringing Medico into this now? Oh, speaking of which, I need you and Crescent to meet me at the very, very bottom floor where the generators
are. Oh, what? That's what you don't want to meet in the lab? Why not?
No. Generators. There's no cameras there. Just generators.
Oh, okay. Crescent, you almost ready?
Yeah, like I said, other than the mental scoring of what just happened, I'm good.
Okay, Acer, we'll be down in just a minute. We'll see you in a second.
Yeah, but as quick as possible, please. We have a problem.
I'm so tired of hearing that phrase today or ever.
All right,
Yes.
allow me to rephrase that. We are in shit and we are sinking.
Well, it's just the longest sigh that you ever heard, Grayson. Like, it's just a miasma fog. Then he just hangs up and like, okay, puts the phone back in his pocket. I'm going to deactivate Sense the Unseen. Just like, okay.
The room returns
walk
to
over
its
to the door.
usual low-lit darkness as you stop your discipline.
I'm going to open up the door and I'm going to just sit at the very entrance. Just like, ready when you are.
I'm going to grab both my guns, pocket them in the back corset, and go.
You switch off your music, pocket your pistols as you begin to leave. The only sounds left are the whispering wind causing the blinds to rattle and wave within Crescent's room as the storm blows outside. You end up closing the door. Crescent, you can't help but just get that strange sensation like you're being watched behind you as you walk through these hidden passageways to the lower areas of the facility. Do you guys take the hidden passageways or do you go through the main hallways?
I'll follow Grayson.
I suggest we just use the normal passageways for now. Or the normal show some face, since we haven't been here in the past.
You make your way through the natural
goody.
hallways. Crescent behind you. Every now and then a light above you causing to flicker due to her presence. People immediately get very wide berths as you both walk by, mainly when they see Crescent. Though, interestingly enough, Grayson, you notice that some of the patients, when they see you and Crescent, they don't seem to shy away from her, as they normally would. Continuing onward, you do hear the familiar, boisterous voices of Genghis and some of his ilk. As you make your way through the hallways and pass by the main entrance towards the lower levels, you do see Genghis, as well as only about 2 other individuals with him, as they seem to be speaking to the front desk attendant. Genghis himself smiling wide, just a hand on his chin. Hi, sweetheart, I'm here with my 3 o'clock for Grayson. The attendant looking, as always, very uncomfortable.
Going to pass by him. I'm not going to touch him or anything. I'm just going to walk past him as I look. Again, just like, yep, go for it. New arrivals.
He gives you finger guns and just smiles at that cocky, wide, flashing of bright white teeth. As always, boys, keep it easy. Play nice. As the 3 of them begin to mingle again, despite your irritation within your haven.
Can I make a note of something?
What do you want to make a note of?
Can I make a note of the people that he brought, the other people he brought this time? Are they the same ones?
It seems in the past about week and a half now, since Genghis has been coming right around the same time, he does bring a varied amount of individuals, but after this long, you notice the new ones are no longer intact. It seems he brings a core 6 or 7 individuals at most, but always seems to cycle through them. Varying amounts,
okay,
some more, some less, never all at once, but the faces are starting to become familiar.
Okay, he has a pattern. Okay. I'm going to just keep a mental note of that he's being very calculated.
Keep a mental note of who he brought, if they're familiar or not, which
yes.
they are. As
yes,
you
please.
do see them make their way through your hallways, and as usual, they end up splitting off into their own directions. The attendant kind of leaning over as she looks at you with a wide, like, really?
I go up to her desk. I know. Not to worry. Temporary.
I hope so, because these guys like to show around almost every night. Do you know why they're here? I mean, I know it's your business, and they're starting to become familiar to me now, but why are they here?
Those ones? Possible prospects. Troubled youth program.
And what, the big bald guy, he's, their tour guide?
Manner of speaking, they're also doing some supervisor trainings. Try to make it seem like they're more chameleon in with the younger groups.
Go ahead and make a manipulation plus subterfuge.
Such as those. I have 1 success.
1 success. You do have additional die for working with mortals because you're luxury. Don't forget that.
Extra die.
You get a +2.
Okay. Make that 3 successes, excuse me.
3 successes. She does kind of look at you, look at the tail end of Genjis, look at you. Well, if you ask me, they're trying really too hard to look quote-unquote hip. I mean, that leather jacket looks like it came from the 80s.
Oh, well, I mean, come on, think about it. These kids nowadays, they're jumping from one trend to the next faster than we can even... I change underwear.
I'm just trying to look at my leather jacket in the background.
She sees you look at your jacket and goes, it looks great on you. I'm just saying, there's one thing between, like, twerking and Fortnite, but, like, I'm sorry, but motorcycle punk hasn't really been in for, like, 20 years.
They're going for a new theme, and it's like a season. They're going for the theme of, like, tough love, like the rough exterior, and then they really have, like, the hard gold on the inside. It's very endearing.
Whatever you say, boss. You know what? I'm not paid enough to ask questions, that seems, but they give me the creeps every time they're in here.
Anything gets out of hand, they start probing into areas maybe they shouldn't. Just let me know. Don't go beyond your desk, though.
I like to stay behind my desk when they're here, to be honest. There's been more than one occasion he's tried to ask me out to some bar.
Yeah, I would never do that if I were you.
No thank you. I'm not into the bad boy type. Besides, school kind of comes first for me right now. I'm paying enough money as it is not to get distracted.
There you go. I hope everything's going well at school, at least.
Oh, it is. The job's good here. Things stay calm, so I can work on homework while I'm here. So, you can't complain. As you can see over the counter, she has a very large medical book open and a very, very thick binder she appears to be studying during the downtime.
Study hard. Study hard. I'm going to continue making my way with Preston right behind me, hopefully.
You make your way through the supply entrance and work your way down to the basement levels. It gets quickly colder down here. Temperature's never been always that great down these lower supply areas as you make your way down deeper into the concrete basement. Acer, supposing you made a beeline, we're first there?
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting there in front of the generators, just kind of sitting there, tapping my foot.
As you guys turn around the corner to the supply entrances, it gets even cooler and to any normal mortal, uncomfortable during this time of season. It's a little bitter, but for you, it's really don't bother either of you. As you kind of come around the corner and see Acer very nervously chewing on his fingernails, pacing back and forth in front of one of the backup generators.
Acer?
And I go over and I take his phone and I pull the battery out.
Very quickly, he, with a deft hand, just snatches it out of your hand and chucks the battery out.
Okay.
That was great.
Okay.
What do you know about Ventru?
I know that they are all business. All business. But the problem is they do business well, and they kind of make it a habit of being in the know.
Okay.
Why?
That is starting to make a lot of sense.
Why are you asking about Ventru?
Because there is a Ventru who apparently knows just as much, if not far more than me, in terms of computers, and has taken the liberty to waltz into my system and take a look, if not duplicate some files. Mainly 2 or 3 months worth of recording ever since this place got built, the dossier on all your patients, and a record of every employee we have.
And you know for a fact this was a venture that did this 100%.
Considering that when I tried to backtrace it, one dude willingly let me into his system. Never had to do that before. That was weird. And left a nice little video recording for me talking about who he is, but not in detail. And surprise, surprise, thanks to our wonderful new prince, everyone is starting to know about me and my voice of the thin bloods, as he puts in air quotes.
Did you see his face, or was it just like an audio?
It was a recording. He showed his face, but definitely did all that stuff on purpose. And he wants me to find him for some strange reason. Now, if he wants me to find him, that means there's one sure way to track back to him. But kind of need info on hell Ventru is and does.
I mean, like I said, they're business. But the thing is they are very good at it.
Honestly, they usually end up being princes.
And are they usually on the Anarch side or the Camera?
Oh, normally the Camarilla, they
like order.
Order.
Basically.
Order, control, that sort of thing.
They're basically the biggest case of spoiled rich kid that you can probably get.
So none of them are going to be like just throwing a random name out there because I can Genghis.
If Genghis ever saw a Ventru and he wasn't restricted by any laws of sanctuary, he would probably try to beat their head inward. You want to talk about a polar opposite of Anarch?
Okay. Feeling a little more relaxed. Don't like the fact that he has access to my system and our cameras. Assumably. I always assume the worst.
Yeah, but it's probably just a power move to make you actually feel the way that you're feeling right now, which, I mean, rightfully so, if he's got all that information, can definitely use that against us.
I mean, if they wanted to do something that would have made a threat, but if anything, it sounds like he was impressed with you.
It sounds like he's just trying to prove something.
Anybody that has something to prove means they have something to gain. Learned that from our Baron, now Prince.
We are going to need your system, because while we do have to deal with the person who is here right now and his little coterie mage, which, by the way, I have recognized a bit of a pattern.
Okay.
What pattern?
He's bringing in... I'm starting to recognize faces. It means he's bringing in a certain group. He splits them off. He varies the numbers. He's organized. I don't think it's his idea, but it's organized.
Well, I mean, we've got cameras, so we've got their faces, right? So, Acer, can you, backtrack it or do your hacky thing with their faces at all?
I can, yes, but that all depends how into the police system I am.
We do.
Yeah, still need to find out how much access I have on that end. But don't exactly like our little friend in my system, because now he would know that I have that, though from his cocky attitude it seems like he would have his own way into that system anyways.
As I looked at Crescent, like the cop the other night back when we were searching for Malenkoff, we know that some of them are in the police. Kindred, I mean, so.
Well, yeah, and if the prince suspects that there's some sort of mole working within the precinct, I mean, they could be kindred, ghoul, whatever. Point is that there's some anarch in there.
Could even be a human, honesty. I mean, I did at least send an email to the mayor. Oh, as a matter of fact, Storyteller, what time is it?
Looking at your clock, it is only about 6 o'clock. The winter is beginning to set in with Seattle, and the winter nights come early here in the city.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. As I look down at my watch, I look back up. I have a small meeting with the mayor to discuss what I'm going to do with my patients.
You know the mayor?
No, the mayor. Kidding me? I've met his wife. Beautiful.
All right, starting to get a little more disturbed. How well do you know the mayor?
I mean, you'd be surprised what he has access to. He's a really great guy, though. I really like where his head's at. I backed him in some of the elections.
I'm just going to turn to Crescent and then turn to Grayson. Why the hell am I doing all this illegal shit if you know the mayor?
I mean, he probably doesn't want to push it, because if he keeps asking the mayor for too many favors, it's probably going to look suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair. Just be warned. Assume that the system is completely compromised and that these cameras now hear everything for someone else.
Well, nothing can hear me, so.
I can't say I see it as a total loss. See it as more of an opportunity at the same time. But
all right.
Other than that, Acer, I owe you an apology because you are 100% correct. We are in fact haunted.
Great.
And that I will also try and take care of. I'm going to talk to my sire. Hopefully he has more experience with exercising unwanted spirits.
Okay. Wherever you go, whatever you do, if it's important, try to take her with you. I'm just saying, you're walking EMP. At the very least, it doesn't matter if someone is listening in electronically. All you have to do is stand next to it and then boop.
Fair point. You're almost like your own signal jammer.
I mean, yeah.
That's a good thing.
Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
I will happily tag along or wherever I'm needed. But aren't we supposed to do this thing with the prince first? Or, I mean, this thing with Genghis is important too, and so is the haunting. There's a lot of things going on right now.
I think
Right. Priority-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we need to do is just prep, because I don't trust Genghis, and
Good.
the only thing that I do trust from that guy is his big mouth threats. So I say we prep for him first, which reminds me, I gotta go get Medico, and Crescent, after your meeting with him, you're coming with me because we're going shopping.
Don't forget that we also have Michael coming over at some point. This is a very busy night.
It very much is. Hopefully Michael arrives late.
He
Is he
probably
usually?
will.
Okay, good. He's usually a late arrival. Good.
Yeah, he's a brouhaha. He does what he wants. He's nauseating like
You
that.
don't say.
Just for clarification, in terms of trusting a Ventru, you guys are okay with them?
No.
I don't want to say okay.
Right. All right. So be on my guard. Not as bad as Genghis, but don't let guard down. Got it. Thank you.
The thing is that Genghis is not... How do I put it this way? I mean, he can be, but for the most part, Genghis isn't very deceptive. They're very blunt, and they're very upfront with what they want, and they usually use force to get what they want. Ventru like to put things up in a nice little pretty package and make you actually want it when it's actually more of a jar of manure.
My quickest example, I would say, a Bruja wants to get into a room. They punch the door open. A Ventru would pay somebody else to open the door for them as they stroll in.
There we go. That's the one. Mm-hmm.
Fun. All right. Good to know.
Yeah,
Thanks
they
for that.
have a silver tongue, so you got to be mindful of that.
There are some
Right.
good ones.
Right.
Some.
Just like any kindred. I mean, it's the same with mortals, though. Good ones, bad ones. Good kindred, bad kindred.
Okay. Well, I'm going to select a few choice people to actually keep an eye out for anything suspicious now that our system has been utterly compromised. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to Medico, as well as Rudy and Danica, obviously.
Danica is actually on leave for the time being, which I may
Still?
swing.
What do you mean
It's
she's
a-
on leave? She's been gone a long time.
It's a long leave.
Is she okay?
I don't know, but I intend to find out tonight, either on my way to the mayor's or on the way back from the mayor's. I'm going to at least look into her house.
Okay. Well, I can come with you, since
I would
I have to be
appreciate that.
walking EMP anyway, or whatever you guys called it.
I'd appreciate that in the sense of it's nagging on that part of my mind.
I don't blame you.
Right. Well, you guys
I've
do
been-
your thing. I'll hold the fort until you come back.
Okay.
Acer?
Yeah.
Really quick, I've, because of the whole thing that we talked about yesterday, I've been kind of avoiding Medico, and I'm sure that she's noticed by now. So if she's a little upset or confused and you happen to see her before I do, can you just let her?
I'll talk to her for you.
Thank you. That would be great. I don't want her to
Probably
think
not
that I'm avoiding her because I don't want to see her. It's just with everything that's been happening, it's just like I stupidly kind of want to keep her out of all this. She doesn't really like kindred stuff anyway, so there's no reason to have her roped into it so much.
I will try and be as tight-lipped as possible, but I gotta be honest, that girl can light buses on fire. If she wants me to talk, I'm gonna talk.
No, I know. And if you have to talk, you have to talk. Just Tell her that I intend on telling her everything anyway, just cover my base here, because I don't want her to think that I'm purposely hiding anything from her. It's just I need time to figure things out, which is, to be honest, I don't even want to go outside the facility right now because of all this, and hopefully it'll be easier when Michael gets here and everything, but just everybody keep an eye on me, that'd be great.
At this point,
I mean...
Crescent, sorry to cut you off. Crescent, as the evening becomes stressful for you, you feel a pull, a desire for comfort. You're stressed. All this is happening. A lot of things are happening. You're still cloudy. Go ahead and give me intelligence plus resolve, please.
3 successes.
3 successes. You, at the very mention, the very slightest inclination of most recent events, and your mind still wandered onto the stress, you have to really grit your hands. You really want to go see Eleonora. You know she probably could clear up all of these problems for you, just with a snap of her fingers. Make everything go back to the way it was. Comforting and safe. But you flex and stress a little bit, and the urge passes just barely. To the point where, Grayson, you can visibly see Crescent become, for a moment, increasingly uncomfortable before it seems like she forces herself to relax.
I put my hand on her shoulder, so I kind of lean a little bit close to her. Stay in the moment with us. Got this.
Just take a breath.
The act does no physical good, but is a repetitive, remembering motion.
Yeah, just keep an eye on me, please.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
Do we want to meet back here at a certain time? You said your meeting's at 10, so...
9.
Or 9? 9.
Yes.
So we can meet back here, 10 or 11, or...
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that long. We're just going to see if I can work out a temporary exchange program, maybe for a day or so, just to get them out of the building.
Yeah, but you also mentioned stopping by Danica's, so I'm just accounting into time for that.
Good point. Let's say around 11 then.
Okay.
All right, 11 it is.
Can I have my battery back now?
Oh, yeah. He takes your phone, puts the battery back in, closes it up. Here you go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I intentionally don't turn it on, and I put it back in my pocket.
Where would you all like to go next? As the night is still young.
I'm actually going to hold Crescent back, let Acer go about. I just wanted to ask you something very quickly. It's in pertains to the end of the month, if we do in fact have to do what we need to do.
All right. Yeah.
Well, again, just the people he's bringing, if it does turn out that we need to fight them head on, I'm a little concerned I may not be able to keep up with them. The strength part I can get, but it's just they have this inhuman movement about them. I can't believe I just said inhuman, duh. But I mean, like, fast, even for us. And I've seen you move that quickly. Do you know, could you teach me how to do that?
Well, it's not really something that I can necessarily teach. It's kind of something that you gain, I guess.
Oh, I have to.
The thing is that you're right. If I do this,
it's a lot. I was in the planning mood.
No. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that if I do this, doesn't leave this room.
No. Why would it? Haley, it's me. It's me.
All right, you got about 5 minutes before I change my mind, and I'm just gonna hold my arm out.
Like now? Oh,
Yeah, now. There's no better time. I'm completely full. You're fine.
All right, if you're okay.
It's consensual if that's what you're asking.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm going to take off my glasses just for a moment, and I very gently grab your wrist and okay. I owe you for this, obviously.
You have already paid me back in more ways than you think. You're fine.
I'm gonna lower my lips down and I'm gonna bite.
There's a sharp sting on your arm, Crescent. You're not used to pain, as most wounds and most attempts to hurt you never reach their mark. You have to grit yourself for a moment, but then a euphoria hits you like you've never experienced. You've never been fed upon. A rush of endorphins and warmth just flood through your system as the kiss begins to take from you. It is calming, and it sends shivers down your undead spine. And Grayson, it's like you just bit into a battery. The flood of strength that comes from her Vitae. You fed off Crook. Vitae is potent. But Crook's Vitae was nowhere near like this. Crescent's is powerful, addictive, over-encompassing. One tiny sip, and you can feel every nerve ending in your body come to life as you drink. Crescent, you do gain a point in hunger as you feel Grayson take from you, and you drink deep. What's your current hunger at, Grayson?
I'm at 2 hunger.
Despite its potency, despite how nourishing and life-giving you feel it, it slates 1 additional hunger. You get the sense, though, that if you were hungrier, this could slate a lot more. Fortunately, as you drink and drink, and very reluctantly pull away, you've never had Vitae this powerful, and it just almost sends you into a blind fury. But you will yourself back just barely. But Crescent, as you slowly begin to come out of this euphoric haze, you see Grayson just staring at your arm, wide-eyed, like an animal, before very reluctantly pulling away from you.
I slowly push her back.
That should help.
Yes. Yes, it will.
You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. Thing is that I've never really done that, so I don't know. I mean, I've heard that it works, so you'll have to let me know if you feel faster or whatever.
I don't know. I need a little bit of time with that one as I pull out my handkerchief and blot away my mouth.
I'm just going to lick my wrist really quick just to get that away.
The wounds seal shut as, I'm assuming, Grayson, for technical aspects, you are searching for Serenity.
Yes, that's for rapid reflexes. It's Serenity.
That is correct. I am looking for that.
You feel as you take in Crescent's Vitae, it sits light in your system, almost charging every inch of your fiber. You feel your hands actually almost shake, like reflexes are being born that are slightly outside your control. You feel something's a little different in you from that taste. You may need a certain resonance to complete it. And yes, Machete is celerity. My apologies.
Yes, some of these I'm not good at pronouncing, so I apologize.
Camarilla, Serenity, celerity.
I'm not good at spelling.
I'm not good at spelling or pronouncing. You know, English language, it's hard.
Grayson, you do have that potential available, but you do need to complete the other half of the puzzle.
Right, figuring out the resonance to go with it. As I look at my hands, like there's a bit of that, like the twitching left over, but I kind of focus myself.
Feel okay?
I do. It's like it was like biting into a battery.
I don't know how to take that.
I mean, it's like voltage. Like as I'm saying this, like I'm like starting to like step a little bit quicker. Like no, that was like charging it's like charging a phone with a gas generator. just right there, so much. Whoa. I go over to her and just give her like that side hug.
Grayson seems a little energetic, like a kid hopped up on too much sugar. So he seems very buzzing as he just slings an arm around you and pulls you in close.
Okay, well, just gonna pat his shoulder. We gotta go to the thing. 9, 10, something.
Yes. 9:00 is my meeting with the mayor. He just so graciously, moved a few things over, made an open space for me. Really nice guy. Let's go upstairs for now. We got a few minutes before we can leave. I'll ask Rudy if I can borrow his car for some time, or if he can drive us.
Okay. What exactly do you want to do? I mean, I know we have a lot to do tonight, so we can do something.
You know what? I have an idea. Let's go through the secret passages. Let's see what we can do about those. Because if they know they're there, maybe we can use that to our advantage.
Well, like set up traps? Wouldn't that take time?
You have some. Well, I'm saying we plan. Look around and see what would fit without causing.
I mean, I'm not opposed to setting up traps.
Oh no, these pieces of these things think that they can just come into my facility and do whatever they want. It's like wide-eyed. He's gonna like start making his way up with like a smirk on his face.
Just a little bit confused and follow behind him.
We'll go ahead and jump over to Acer for now. As Acer, you're looking for Medico, yes?
Yep.
Fair enough. You make your way through the facility, kind of peek around every corner. Obviously feeling a little nervous, as you just now have this innate sense of paranoia that just seems to radiate off of you. But it's not long as you make your way through. You head your way towards the nurse's station, where she believes she would normally be around this time. And as you do, you see Genghis walking down the hall, just whistling, as he smiles at you with a raised eyebrow as you begin to walk past him.
I'm gonna keep an eye on him, not so much like a menacing way, just more as a, how when people look at each other when they walk by each other, a slight bit of awkward, but they're both looking at each other to see what's going to happen, kind of like pseudo prepare.
Mm-hmm. I'll say for this, I'm gonna need you to make a very quick roll.
All right, how quick are we talking? Super quick, mighty quick, not so quick.
Smart, Alec. As quick as I can find the damn page. Make a composure plus resolve, please.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes. As you pass by and make direct eye contact with Genghis, he smiles at you. But as you get about within arm's reach, all of a sudden his face twists. Very quickly, suddenly, for a split second. The pupils in his eyes slit. His brow becomes extremely furrowed. His lips pull back in almost a Joker-like smile. And very long fangs jut out very quickly as he feints towards you. With a small underground hiss, you feel this air almost vibrate around you, and you freeze. As you literally stop dead in your tracks and freeze as he just looks at you with this wide, bestial smile that fades as quickly as it happens. He just laughs as he pushes right past you. You hear Gandris' footstep pass around the corner.
As he passes around the corner, I'm just going to look back, kind of grab his arm to try and stop the shaking, but it's not really working that well. And he's just going to continue walking.
It takes you a moment to have to recover yourself. You stay there for a good minute or so just trying to stop shaking. You don't feel safe until you know for a fact that Genghis is out of your sight and out of earshot before you very hesitate a step forward. But nonetheless, you make your way through, just still trying to push that out of your mind. As you eventually turn into the nurse's station, where you do see Medico, for once, finally getting to, just as she sits down in her chair. The beds aren't as full tonight, but she does look positively exhausted. She looks a little pale. There's a little bit of sweat coming down the side of her face. And as soon as she sits down, she happens to see you come in. She goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake. Don't. On a scale of 1 to 10, is this good news or bad news?" Because every time someone comes in here, it's never something that I'm happy about.
I have both, if that makes you feel better.
That does not, but She just waves a hand. She looks positively exhausted.
Right. I can wait on the bad news if you want and just give you the good news.
Hold on. Is this normal bad news or special bad news? As she looks over to see some conscious and semi-conscious patients within the room.
Definitely something we want to keep on and he just kind of, with his hands, like, points downward.
She gets up and she kind of rolls her eyes, puts a hand on your shoulder, and she begins leading you out of the room, across the hall into the nearby supply closet. She opens, letting you inside. Do you step in with her?
Yep.
She closes behind you as she does keep it ever so slightly cracked to keep an ear out for her patients. What, Acer? What?
Our system is compromised.
Oh, for
I
fuck's
just
sake.
came to warn you. Be careful going home, and just be careful what you say around the cameras. I'm not sure how much access this person has, but they broke into my system and downloaded some files.
Great. And does that mean, like, my personal information, people's personal information? Like, what do you mean compromise exactly? I'm not very techie, so just be very basic about what you're referring to.
They have about 3 months worth of footage that I stockpiled since this place got up and running, as well as the dossier to all of the people here that need help, and they also have the records of every employee.
She just crosses her hands in front of her face. Takes a deep breath, almost like a slightly 1,000-yard stare. Right. Change my bank information, change everything about my personal life. What else? What else has happened since I decided to so gratefully accept working here?
This place is haunted now.
She just stares at you in a very long, deadpan stare. That's not funny, Acer. That's really not funny. If you're trying to make a joke, it's really not funny.
Yeah, I wish that was a joke. I'm not liking this either.
You know, that would explain a few things, unfortunately. Considering the fact that the past couple days, roughly about a week now, I've been getting the heebie-jeebies like I've been constantly watching. I've had to prescribe an unusually high amount of sedatives to people complaining about nightmares.
Ah, okay, so it's not just me. It's you and everyone else here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, seems like nightmares have become a pretty common thing around here. Okay, great. First we have bloodthirsty savages just parading around. Now we have ghosts. Anything else I should be aware of that Grayson just so happened to not tell me?
Nope, that's pretty much all we discussed today.
This just keeps going on and on and on. Where the hell is even Crescent, by the way? I haven't seen hide or hair of her, and I know she's stealthy, but she hasn't gone this long to see me. Is she mad at me or something? Did I do something to piss her off?
No. See, that's another reason why I needed to come find you, is for the 2 good news that I have. Crescent's not mad. She's just dealing with something right now, and she wants to get her emotions in check before coming to you.
Wait. Emotions in Crescent equals bad news. What happened? And why is she coming to me about it? She always comes to me.
I'm honestly not sure. Like I said, she's trying to figure things out herself. She just wanted me to tell you that, she's not bad.
Go ahead and make a manipulation plus subterfuge, as you are technically lying.
Am I?
You do know why she's avoiding medical.
Oh, shoot. I forgot about that. Okay, no, then I'm going to switch that around, because I'm not about to lie. I'm going to be like...
Retcon.
Yeah, retcon. Sorry about that. I completely forgot about Arya. Be like, she's just dealing with a lot of emotions right now. It has to do with a past person. She told me not to go into detail because she wants to tell you herself when she's ready. So all I can say is that it's someone from her past.
Acer, if Crescent's in trouble, I suggest you tell me before I have to figure it out myself.
I don't think she's in trouble. I think she's going to need help with a few things, yes, but I don't think it's trouble per se.
She runs a hand through her slightly messy hair. Kind of look off at the sidewall and just shaking her head. God damn it, Kristen, what have you gotten yourself into now? Fine, okay. I'll take that for now. I'll probably have to find her out myself at a later point. I know where she sleeps, kinda. What else?
You're gonna get to talk to her very soon because she's coming with me shopping and I need you there.
Shopping.
For tech, but still technically shopping, yes.
Okay, Acer. Let me paint you a picture of my day right now since the last time we hung out, because I think you're under this understanding that I just have a load of free time. I, right now, work a full-time job, mostly nights, but I'm usually here for at least 12 hours at a time right now because the person who's supposed to be my superior has gone AWOL, apparently taking a sudden vacation. Out of nowhere.
I think Grayson's on that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Until further notice, I'm covering for her as well. So I have about right tonight 12 patients to keep an eye on, all suffering from chronic nightmares and anemia, which, by the way, is more than yesterday. Some of the people are repeated visitors, which means that someone, and we know who, is double dipping, which means more work for me. I need to make sure these people don't suddenly keel over, because if they go down, I have to tell people why, and why we didn't call emergency services, and why Grayson has to now answer to friends and family of people that are responsible under us. So you can see, I'm a little busy! I don't have time for shopping! As much as I would fucking love to go shopping, I could really use with a nice manicure and a new hairdo, and I could really resupply on my false eyelashes. Because right now, I'm pretty sure I'm so overworked they're falling off by the dozen. I don't have time.
I mean, Grayson's pretty good at this stuff, right? He could watch for like an hour or two.
Do you really think I'm going to take 2 steps out of this place knowing that there is a obvious predator lurking within the halls? And if Grayson is happened to not be here, or if he's the only one here, he's going to be able to handle just simply being ganged up on? I mean, Grayson's formidable, but I saw what happened when a building fell on top of him.
Well, we might have another person coming in.
You know, that doesn't make me feel better either.
Actually, a friend of Crescent's.
Okay, now it definitely doesn't make me feel better.
Really? That didn't make you feel better?
Crescent doesn't have friends, except me. And surprisingly, you guys. So if there's somebody that I'm not necessarily 100% aware of, which means it's someone that I probably haven't met, chances are it's one of you guys. And we don't need more of you guys here! Why am I getting so fucking attached anyway? God damn it. I joined this place to try to spend more time with Crescent, and now it just made me busier than ever. She pinches the bridge of her nose, taking a very deep breath as you can see her snapping her fingers and sparks begin to come off her thumbs. Damn it. She shakes her hand. I'm sorry. I'm a little sleep deprived, and I'm kind of pissy right now. It's just every fucking day, every night, it just doesn't end.
Okay, how about this? Clearly going out is not an option, but what if when we come back, I can take over the medical ward just for a little bit so you can go talk to Crescent? At least, relieve some of the stress on that end.
Do you have any experience with having to treat anemia, or handling withdrawals, or having to monitor patients and take explicit medical notes? Do you have any knowledge of that whatsoever? I would take that as a big fat no.
I mean, my mom did teach me some things.
Well, no offense, Acer. Not only are these people my responsibility, but this is also my job. And granted, I know this is kind of a unique agreement, but the same part of it, this is my livelihood, despite how frustrated I am. I cannot allow you to do that. Unfortunately, I'm stuck here. Until I get off shift, which who knows how long that'll take until Danica decides to come back, this is what I'm doing right now.
Just kind of takes out his phone and taps a couple keys really quick. Okay, well, if professional's what you want, give me 2 to 3 days.
Why?
I pay for this entire place. You don't think I can hire new staff?
Isn't that kind of a Grayson department?
He could be there for the interview.
Okay, yes, I need new help. I heavily suggest not going behind the guy whose name is on the building, but I'm going to let you do you. I didn't hear a lick or word of that.
I mean, to be fair, I put his name on this building because,
You know what? Every time you start talking lately, it just makes me a bit more terrified for your safety. So to answer your question, if there is happen to be help in the future, I would probably appreciate it. But for now, I need to get back to work. But is there anything I can do for you in this moment, or are we good? Because unfortunately, I can't go shopping. Want to, can't.
I was going to ask if you had any spare bag bloods, but I could tell you're using them, so I'm just going to not step on that landmine.
Go ahead and make a charisma plus persuasion.
Almost flat out rejecting that, but okay.
Remember, you still have a bonus because she is considered immortal, even though she's a witch.
That helps a little bit. One success.
One success. She looks behind her for a moment, rolls her eyes. She walks over to the nearby fridge, pops it open. You hear a small lock being opened as she pulls back a blood bag, and she hands it to you. 1. You get 1. And I'm only doing this because you're at least not trying to eat people. And frankly, I can't say no to that puppy dog face of yours that she kind of smacks you off the side of the face before brushing past you.
You like me.
I will burn you! As she slams the door behind her.
And I just start drinking the bag blood.
You're able to slate 1 hunger. What do you guys wish to do next?
I'm going to go find Rudy.
Alrighty. Well, you go off and find Rudy, Crescent, and Grayson. What do you guys want to do?
At some point, I want to go up to my office to see if Bertrand has responded to me or not.
Fair.
I will be following him.
Alrighty. As Grayson goes off to try and... says Ace tries to go off fight Rudy. You take your passages to go back up to Grayson's private office. And there is indeed a letter on your windowsill with the Tremere insignia.
Excellent. I'm going to take that letter. I'm going to close my window again, and I'm going to open up and read the letter.
No, I'm just going to point at it. Is that normal? Does that normally happen?
What, for us? Oh, no, that's 100% normal. In fact, it's usually how Tremere like to communicate.
Anything good?
You pop open the letter as it reads, Dear Grayson, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. I understand that things have gotten rather exciting for you and your coterie, as many changes are upon the city. Better note that I do sympathize as we are all feeling Dragos' strain, and I urge you to remember loyalty must be proven and earned. In regards to your inquiry, I do know quite a bit about the affliction. It is a common thing that can threaten any kindred. To those who give too deeply into our nature, and to those that throw caution to the wind and become reckless, that is usually a fate set behold them, though it is preventable through discipline and self-management. In regards to reversing it, I caution you to abandon this quest, as many better before you have attempted to reverse this, only to find confliction, bloodshed, and chaos as a result. I know you are eager. I know you are bold. However, there are just some things that even magic can't solve. You are free to make your own choices, but as one that is older than you, I suggest you heed my wisdom. Always yours, your sire, Bertrand.
Without saying anything, I'm going to close up that letter, put it in my drawer, and I'm going to draw up a new letter.
And what does it say?
My sire, again, I thank you for your wisdom and very much appreciate it. I will heed your words to the best of my ability. For now, there are some other matters that I must ask you about. I wish to ask if there is if I might enlist the help of someone, maybe someone in the area or to aid me with wards, both against kindred and against the spectral kind, as I underline spectral. Seems that I have accrued quite a new guest list. And if possible, hopefully I may speak to you in person at your earliest convenience or when you can. But as always, it is a joy to speak to you and hear your words. Plan, always, Grayson Holland. I'm going to seal it back. I'm going to put the letter up, put it in an envelope, seal it, press my Tremere stamp. As I do, I nick my finger and I make a very rudimentary, droppings on each corner. And as I hold it out the window, I let it go.
A sudden breeze cuts through the room, kind of tossing your hair from one crescent, as the breeze from within the room carries the letter straight out of his hands into the night, disappearing into the darkened, wet sky.
I'm gonna assume that meant the letter was a good thing? Or bad?
It was informative. Any information he shares with me, I always take under consideration.
That's good to have that relationship with your sire. Oh.
Mm-hmm. I had I inquired about help with our new spectral visitor.
What?
Maybe we should go and talk to Mariko, since we still have some time.
Right now? I mean,
at some point. Maybe not right now.
Yeah. I mean, I know we have time, but I don't know if I'm ready to... I don't know if I'll ever be ready, honestly.
We'll wait. This is still kind of fresh. Let's give it at least a little bit of time.
She already knows who Arya is. So if I come out and tell her that I killed her, I'm kind of worried that I might lose her.
It's not for me to tell.
I know.
I'll say that.
I know. I can't keep it from her, and I'm not suggesting that. I don't know how to...
Let's go talk to Broody. I'm sure it's about time for us to get on our way for my meeting.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Mariko later, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back over to Crescent to offer my hand out to her over stand.
I'm going to hesitate for a moment, but quickly take it and begin walking.
Takes you a few moments to catch up to where Rudy might be. But surprisingly enough, you intersect with Acer.
Acer, there you are.
Yo, I just talked to Medico. I didn't say much because I told her that you wanted to say, well, what you wanted to say, so she didn't, poke or prod around. But
so you didn't tell her?
I didn't.
No, that's good. That's good.
That's what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better. Yeah, I think it's better that you do it, and she's under a lot of stress right now. At the very least, if you could talk to her and tell her you're okay, so she has one less thing to worry about.
What is she stressed about?
The fact that she has to take care of all these people by herself. Bonus side note, I already posted a job hiring form, so there's going to be a couple people coming in you might want to take a look at because medical needs help. So I just kind of posted it.
Absolutely. Sure. Why not? How many did you put out? At least 2, I'd hope.
Oh, the thing out there is 2 to 3. So we'll see how many applicants we get. But
that's fair. Yeah,
Grayson, wait, is this because of Danica?
I would suppose so. I thought I had other nurses, but then again,
I thought you had other ones like on call, temporary ones. You got something to backup. Like if she needs a break right now, I don't want her to necessarily leave the facility, but she can handle herself.
I mean, I have some experience. I wouldn't mind covering her for some time.
I've already suggested that, and well, I kind of know what it feels like to be on fire now. Not literally, but emotionally.
For clarification,
yeah, she has
Grayson,
that effect.
For clarification, Grayson, with your rating in your haven, when it comes to your medical facility, it is a small medical facility, not really necessarily prepared to handle massive emergency situations.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to help those going through withdrawal and the occasional, individual coming in having a bit of a meltdown or needing some surprise assistance due to complications from not being on the substances that they've been accustomed to. So usually 1 or 2 nurses was more than enough. However, thanks to Genjis putting a strain on your herd and Danica not being here, Medico's been the only one having to deal with this.
Okay, just remember, Acer, if you want to put out the job offering, just make sure we put on there at least temporary, because yes, put on there for temporary. But
what if Danica doesn't come back?
I have enough money to keep at least 2 to 3 employees employed in the medical room. Their salary's definitely not going to be as high as Danica's or Medico's, but it's enough to get her help.
Anything will help at this point, even if we have to break it up to where one person does, the few hours, second person comes in for the other half, because I want to have the extra person with them. The backup to the backup. And
yeah. And I mean, if she needs a break, she's probably not performing her best right now. She need breaks.
Yes. We would, you know what? Hey, so put down a note. Maybe we'll think about expanding the medical facility a little bit more.
I will definitely make sure to keep that in the notes.
Well, were you going to go see Rudy, Acer?
Yeah, I was going to tell him about the whole infiltration thing to my system.
I think that's a good idea. Let's all go, and then I'll ask him, see if we can either borrow his car or have him drive us. I'm going to go to the meeting with the mayor.
You think after last time he'll actually drive us?
If we're going to the mayor's office, I think he'll be okay with that.
All right.
Like I said, that or borrow his car.
I'll say for the sake of brevity, what information do you share with Rudy?
I'm just going to tell him really quick to keep his head down, careful what he says, because system's been compromised and people might be watching. No guarantee, but better safe than sorry.
He seems nervous, not really comfortable with the idea of people watching, but at the same time, he did shoot a man not too many days ago, so not as bad as it could be. But upon asking him to drive, he looks to Grayson and, without even missing a beat, yeah, sure, I got you. We'll take the van. Take wherever you need to go, boss. I'll just make sure to keep Alex on charge until I get back.
We won't be going long. I just want to make a stop, have a little meeting with the mayor, go check on Danica, and then we're going to come right back.
You got it. Let's go. We got enough time to waste. And he quickly grabs his coat, grabs a big old thermos just in case he's going to be out for another long night, because he suspects it might, as usual with you. And everyone piles into the van. He drives out. Alex bids farewell as you see the gate is lifted and you hit the main streets without really any issues. The storm is a bit heavy tonight. Thunder kind of rolls across the sky. Heavy rain falls as the wipers wipe back and forth aggressively, trying to beat off a pretty aggressive Seattle winter storm. You can feel the van kind of rock a little bit every now and then from a harsh gust of wind on the overpasses. It takes about on time you expect to get to the central hall, as it's not necessarily hard to get into the city. Once you in, of course, Seattle traffic likes to stop and go. About 45 minutes later, you do make it to City Hall.
Oh, did I actually go?
Did you want to go or did you want to stay?
I was going to say, I think Acer was going to stay at the facility.
No, yeah, I'm going to stay behind, especially now that Medico is, like, freaked out. I'm going to stay behind and help her with the mundane things to kind of, like, relieve some stress from her.
Fair enough. Cressy, did you go with Grayson then?
Yes, I did.
Perfect.
Should be me and her.
Both of you come out as Rudy steps out, slides a little company credit card into a parking meter outside the front of City Hall. Gives you a bit of a wave. I'll be here, boss. I'll keep the engine running.
No worries, Rudy. We'll be out in just a bit.
Just gonna sip on some coffee. And you see he pops up the passenger door, sits in and pours a very large cup of coffee to his thermos and just turns on the radio and just begins to wait. Seems to be in chipper moods today, despite the slight anxiety of your guys' current predicament. But he does seem watchful, constantly looking back and forth, a little subtly as he drinks his coffee.
Good.
But you make your way towards the front entrance, going up the large steps of City Hall. Entering in through the front doors, your footsteps echo loudly across the marbled floor, as even at this time of night, even though there's not as many mortals, there are still quite a few late-nighters pulling various forms, documents, things they need to get in order for running the city back and forth. Not before long, going to the very illustrious City Hall, passing by numerous artworks, statues, secretaries, you eventually make it to the front desk of the mayor's office. As you come in, you see a younger woman, secretary, dressed very nicely in dark navy blue uniform, red hair tied back, a little bit short on the short side, with half spectacles, looking down as she seems to be clicking away on a keyboard.
As I approach, I'd like to activate Blush of Life.
All right, give me a RAS check.
RAS check. I do not get hungry.
Wonderful. As you will levitate to the surface, your skin grows warmer in shade. You begin to blink and breathe, blending in with those around you.
With that, I will, just as I hit the front desk, I will kind of give it a small, like, evening. How are you doing today?
She snaps up. Oh, Mr. Holland, I see you are early as usual. You're here to see the mayor?
I sure am.
Well, all right. Let me see here. She reaches over to a pager. Mr. Mayor? Yes? Your 9 o'clock is here. Oh, he's early. Yes, he's punctual as always. Go ahead, send him on in. I'm fine. Go ahead. Yes, send him on in. Right away. All right. She just gestures toward the door behind her.
Oh, don't worry. I know where it is. Thank you again.
As always, Mr. Holland.
As I make my way around, and I will
She doesn't
go
seem
into
to
his
acknowledge you
office.
at all, Crescent, as she just continues back to her work.
I'm going to maintain close proximity to Grayson, just remembering what Acer said about technology, so...
As you stay behind Mr. Holland, unfortunately, as you pass by the secretary's desk, you see, just by peeking over her screen, kind of when she goes, what the hell? Kind of slaps aside her computer monitor for a minute, a few times before it pops back into frame. But you open the door to the large frosted glass door, centralized mayor's office, as you open suddenly, and as you see Mayor D sitting there at his very large desk. As to your awkward humor, he is leaning back with his feet on his desk, trying his best to look relaxed. And goes, Mr. Holland, and he kind of leans forward a bit dramatically as if unexpecting you, before he stands up and makes a point to walk around his desk to come shake your hand.
And I definitely notice that. Give him a good chuckle, and as I grasp onto his hand, like pat his shoulder. What's going on? You're looking way too healthy right now.
He gives you a hard shake as he pulls a chair after both you and Crescent. Please sit. You're always funny as he makes his way back to his desk. He's a fairly portly, elderly man. Bit white skin, salt and black pepper hair, a little bit of a clean beard along the front of his face that is pretty customary with most nowadays, but it is fairly trimmed at a very elegant angle. The suit is well tailored, even to give his portly form a bit of broadness. Makes him look a bit more professional, but strong, despite obviously the most exercise he does is getting up and down from his chair. But he, with a bit of a hearty laugh, just sits down and is like, well, you know, gotta lift those books, keeps a man healthy. Who is your... He kind of stops for a moment, just staring at Crescent. You can see his eyes kind of blink a few times looking at her. Friend?
Business associate. She actually helps me maintain a little bit of security at my my new building because there has been some there's been some things going on there, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry, but is she okay? She is awfully pale.
Oh, it's this storm. It just her allergies. They just take
It's
it right
rather
out
rude,
of her.
isn't it?
I'm trying to talk over Crescent.
He does hear both of you as soon as she does this. He does kind of like lean back and she goes, "My apologies." Anyway, it quickly changes the subject back to Grayson, just trying to now avoid the obvious fear of the room. It looks back to Mr. Holland. So yes, you said your facility. What can I do for you, Mr. Holland?
Well, so I'll just be frank with you. Nothing too serious. Just hoping that I could maybe inquire a little bit of help with some patient transport, because there's actually a little bit of work I want to do in my facility. Some small modifications here and there, but unfortunately, they're going to be using chemicals kind of dangerous for people to be around. Wondering if you could help me, like temporary stay for my patients, just for maybe a night or two.
A night or two. Well,
maybe there's another facility or something like that that'd be willing to house them temporarily, of course.
Go ahead and make a charisma plus persuasion.
Okay.
I'll say with your influence, you could add 3 dice as a bonus.
I like the sound of that.
Ooh.
So, charisma and 1 for persuasion. Thank Jeebus. Okay, that is...
I love the sound of that many dice when it's not the storyteller.
6 successes. That's with a critical.
Perfect. He kind of leans back in his chair, scratching at his beard. Oh. Last I recall, Mr. Holland, you were looking about 60, 70 patients strong last time you put your quarterly report.
That is true. 100%. A lot of wayward spirits.
Ooh, that's gonna be a little tricky. Obviously, I don't think they're all gonna be able to fit in one center. A lot of them seem to be struggling just to keep up. They don't have the same kind of private funding that you do. But you know, I'm on good terms with a few individuals, a few benefactors here and there. As long as it's okay that they don't all have to be in the same place, I might be able to arrange. I might be able to arrange something for the bulk of your patients, if not all of them. They would most likely be divided. That's okay.
I think that's fine. Get a little bit of diversity in their sightseeing, you know?
Okay. I'll have my people send your people the request for a more explicit dossier of all your patients, so that way we are aware of their special needs and conditions, of course. We want to help out the people, and we understand that your work within our city has been most important. We definitely want to support that as best we can. Right, yes, I'll have to do some inquiring. How fast do you need these individuals taken care of?
It's something that we're looking more towards the end of the month.
He looks over his calendar. Oof. 10 days. That's a bit short notice.
I can tell you, Mr. Mayor, is leaning close, not over his desk, but like right to the edge. I'd consider it a very personal favor as I give him that small nod.
Well, you know what? I'll make it happen. I can definitely say you've been more than an upstanding member of this community, and you've taken a lot of the riffraff off the streets, and you're been doing well for yourself. I'll see what I can do. I can't make promises, like I said, how convenient it's going to be, and this is kind of putting me out a little bit, as I will have to put some strings, but I'll make it happen.
As I turn to Crescent, you know what? This is why I liked him in office. He's a man of the people. You do not see that nowadays.
He adjusts his blade and says, Mr. Holland, stop.
No. I give credit where it's due. Working. See, sometimes we do the physical, but there needs to be people up front making the hard decisions, as I'm pointing to him as I say this.
Oh, well, you're obviously too kind. You're too kind. I can just definitely expect your support coming around when, as usual, when I'm campaigning to continue my tenure here.
Mr. Mayor, if you would like, I'll happily be mentioning it on the webpage for my center. Generously funded and backed by our wonderful Mayor D.
Good. I like to hear that. All right. Yeah, I can definitely make that done. It's going to be tricky. It's going to probably be a few late nights for Samantha to have to file the paperwork away, but I'm confident we can probably get something worked out. As long as it's for a night or two. That shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Just for a night or two. Quick modifications here and there. You know how it is. Buildings are so temperamental.
Code, construction, I get it. Yeah, neck deep at zoning plans as it is on time-to-time basis. But like I said, get us the information. I'll see what I can do.
Fantastic. That will be to Miss Samantha out front, correct?
Yes. She has your contact info. I'll make sure to send it on over to you and your new benefactor to supply the information, and I'll see what I can do about also organizing transportation, as I don't think your facility, if I remember correctly, is geared up for that level of transportation.
No, it's something new, but you know what? It does give me some, think about further improvements. You know how it is.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. All right, well, is there anything else I can help you with, Mr. Holland, or is that all that you need to speak to me about?
I think that's just about it for tonight. I just wanted to say, I did have a tiny concern about the police that have been coming to my facility recently.
I had heard there was a little bit of drama going on lately. I humbly apologize for one of our delinquent officers assaulting you as such. Are you quite all right?
You know what? Luckily, doctor said he just missed. I'm okay. But what really concerns me, sir, is when the chief came down with some very hurtful accusations.
Accusations?
Indeed.
What kind of accusations?
Honestly, Chief, I hate to tell you, I think he was saying things like he was trying to take advantage of me.
Go ahead.
My facility?
It was
painful.
Manipulation plus subterfuge. Okay. With a bonus 3 dice.
Okay.
Influence is helpful.
Influence is very helpful. 1, 2, 3 successes.
3 successes. The mayor...
Now, I may be misinterpreting what his intentions were. Granted.
The mayor leans in now. You see that warm, jolly Satanic-esque smile he plasters on his face, melt away very quickly. He looks at you very seriously. Kind of squints his eyes a little bit. Almost looks like his eyes become slits. What kind of accusations does our new police chief have been saying? What did he say to you?
Seems that he was not fully convinced of the events that were taking place, saying that he was starting to believe this police officer when he was coming to my facility and harassing me, and even though this cop had no evidence whatsoever of anything.
And how many times did he come by to bother you?
The chief or the previous police officer?
The chief. Officer Stone has already been dealt with. I've already signed the paperwork necessary to terminate him indefinitely.
The chief is only...
I think he's talking about Officer Scales?
Yes, Chief Officer Scales.
That's the one. He's only come by once. Like I said, maybe I had misinterpreted his understandings, or...
No, he was aggressive with you.
Did it seem that way? It was...
It seemed that way from an outside perspective.
Now, so it was Merely concerned. Maybe I was misinterpreting. I just would like to make sure that there is no bad blood, to be honest.
Puts up a small finger as he leans over to one of his very large file coming by, and you see him hit a small few keystrokes as upon the padlock and open the door. Pulls out a very thick file. Steps on his desk, flips it open. Let's see here. Excuse me. When Officer Stone was terminated, I demanded that whatever he was working on was brought onto my desk for review for evidence sake, so I could properly dismiss him. See here.
I'm just going to give Grayson a look because I already know that we're kind of looking into the police station. Just kind of give him like a, hey, should we ask more about that kind of look?
Kind of use this moment as I turn towards Crescent, like, yes, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't make sure. Are you doing okay? As I think kind of closely, what's going on?
Don't we have to, investigate police? He's got a whole file right there. That might save us a lot of time.
I can always follow up on it later.
You do remember, Grayson, that the letter that Dragos did specify the 32nd undercover unit, so it does narrow your search down.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
But as Mayor D begins looking through the dossier, like, I see here. Appears that, looks like the last thing that Mr. Stone discovered was that there was an allegation of seeing you as well as an unnamed individual in a truck that matched a description to your registration. He takes a closer look, squints his eyes a bit. To be fair, he kind of shows you the photo, and it's a very clear photo of your truck. And you actually can see a slight bit of your profile in the camera shot. But Meredith was like, this is blurry at best. I mean, a blue truck, this make and model, I mean, it's got to be 1,000 in Seattle. It's such an easy misunderstanding.
You know what? It's true. As I'm saying this, I am, of course, leaning very close to him. In that very, you never quite know in this city. There's so many different variables.
Well, you know, what I'll do here is I'm just going to make this go away. You know, you've already been harassed by our local police. I mean, they try their best. This city is a challenge, I'll say, for the very least. But you've already been shot, for Pete's sake. What would you be doing by a bar? A man that runs a rehabilitation clinic drinking? Gosh, really, the nerve.
Absolutely not. Would not touch sort of things. As I get up, start looking around, what does this office look like?
It's a fairly lavish office. There are several very large pictures of him shaking hands with important people. At one point, you actually see him shaking hands with Mr. Barack Obama, the former president. You do see him shaking hands with Chuck Norris as well at one point. There are various medals as well as diplomas and degrees that line his wall. He has a very nice, thick carpet, but not shag quite, but more just plush and very high quality. There's some high-level art that you would suspect that comes from famous individuals like Monroe, a replica of the Mona Lisa-esque type situation. It's a very decorated office that kind of promotes a room of comfort and status, meant to impress anyone that comes in.
I mean, I wouldn't touch any of this stuff, but I don't fault anybody for wanting to have a good time. Do you have a favorite, Mr. Mayor?
I mean, I do enjoy a nice glass of Crown Royal here and there when after a long day's work.
As I go over to him and just kind of put my hand on the corner of the desk. You know what, sir? I think you need a good dinner. I think you need a nice place just to unwind and just get off of work sometimes. You know what? I'll take care of that for you. Don't you worry. I know a good place. As I go over and just pat the side of his desk. Don't you worry about it.
You don't have to do that, Mr. Holland. You already do so much for the community.
I insist, sir. You do more than I, and I respect an equal amount of sweat and love put into a work.
Go ahead and make a charisma plus persuasion with the bonus 3.
Okay.
He is just so generous.
There's just so much brown nosing going on over here.
Oh God, yeah.
Hey, sir, it's called politics, okay?
This is probably
it really is politics.
Right. Brown nosing. That's what I said.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Holy shit. 8 successes with a critical.
8 successes.
Holy shit.
He seems very reluctant for a moment, but after... You would assume this is reluctancy for the sake of imagery, but he gives it just a little bit too quickly. As you can see, he wasn't really planning on resisting that much indifferent. As you kind of lean against his desk, he leans back, places his hands on his very large, rotund stomach. It has been a long time since I've actually, gone out. I would be more than delighted to share a meal with you and your lovely business associate. Yeah, he very makes a point not to stare at you too long as he says that.
I'm going to look at Grayson. He just called me lovely.
Well, that's because you are. That sounds like a fantastic idea, sir. Oh, my goodness. I am so sorry. I feel like I'm wasting a bit of your time. We will actually, if you don't mind, we will just go ahead and excuse ourselves for tonight.
Oh, is there anything else I can help you with, Mr. Holland? It seems like you came by so urgently.
If we're sticking on, I just have a curiosity.
Anything. What do you need?
The chief, he wasn't happen to be. It wasn't just him. I was hearing something about a special unit that maybe they got the idea to do this. I don't know. I think it was like the 32nd or something. Do you happen to know of any troublemakers in there? Somebody like to stir up some trouble?
I'm trying to think until the 32nd. He leans back over to his file and flips a few more pages. 32nd. You mean the undercover unit?
Oh dear.
Go ahead and make a charisma plus persuasion with your +3.
Okay.
I love this +3.
Influence the thing. It's why advantages are so nice.
Yeah.
Kind of a dinghead for not trying to use this sooner.
That's why you pay attention to your advantages.
4 successes this time.
4 successes.
4 successes.
As he kind of flips through, he just kind of tilts his head back and forth. Sit down for a moment. I shouldn't be saying this. This is some private stuff, but as long as it avoids a lawsuit, as I understand that you are stressed, and I'm only possibly sharing this to keep things placid between you and our men in blue. They have enough stress to deal with as it is.
Oh. Sir, I would definitely say that with this, my worries would be completely alleviated.
All right. Well, I'll give you the cliff notes. I can't share everything. A lot of it's private information.
I understand.
Currently, the undercover 32nd involves 2 individuals. They, of course, detectives, they're hard to come by, as you should expect only the best of experience to make it to that point. First one is a detective, Walter Ambrose. He's been serving about 10 years. He looks like he tends to be pretty aggressive with his interrogations, but you can't really fault his success, as he has a very high number of convictions. Looks like his most recent takedowns were in regards to some insider trading with some individuals in the city that I cannot name. Looks like there was also a bust for embezzlement in a local charity that was taken care of as well. And it looks like he just did a very large drug sting after being undercover for a very, very extended amount of time that actually led to the busting of a human trafficking ring. I will say, though, there have been several complaints by those that he has interrogated. Sounds like, again, he can be a bit aggressive, and he has been verbally warned once or twice. So there is that. And then the other one would be a Detective Hillary Renton. A bit more experience, served about 12 years, would be 12 years actually next week. Very take no shit attitude based on her mental evaluation. Stable of mind.
I'm sorry, you said Hillary what?
Hillary Renton. Again, she has a very no-nonsense attitude, ex-military. She has had a few strikes on her record. It appears that she was a little bit aggressive with individuals that were of suspect. But after an extensive investigation and assigned partner, it showed that she was on the up and up. She just doesn't seem to give people a lot of benefit of the doubt, it looks like. Unfortunately, though, she has been on medical leave for about 2 months now, as it looked like during her last sting, which resulted in a success, She was injured in the line of duty by some local gang members.
So she's been at home.
By what it says here. I don't know her personal life, but it looks like until recently, as far as I know, she's still on medical leave recovering. So, yes, our forces can be a little bit aggressive, but when you're a detective, you're a different breed, so to speak. You have to understand that sometimes, especially when you go undercover, you don't necessarily operate like the traditional men in blue. You kind of have to blend into the streets a little bit. We all know how rough and tough Seattle can be.
Subtle and sometimes not so subtle tactics have to be put into use. Want to keep safe.
Right, of course. But that's unfortunately all the information I can really give you. Did that answer your questions, or do you need me to try and elaborate on something that I'm available to offer that's not within the public records?
No, I think that is more than enough. As I turn to Crescent, I mean, personally, I feel a little bit more relaxed.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
As I go over to the mayor, and I extend out my hand. It has been a pleasure seeing you again. Give my best, as always.
He stands up and shakes your hand with both hands. Of course. The wife talks about you all the time, always asks how you're doing. So she'll be happy to know that I let her know how you're doing. I look forward to dinner. We'll get it scheduled away. Whenever you'd like.
Kind of you, sir. We'll have a nice evening here very soon. Thank you again. You have a good night. We'll get out of here now.
You too. You take great and have a good night, miss, as he stutters again, looking at you, giving a small nod to his head, not daring reaching out to you.
Grayson! I'm going to follow him.
I am going to put my hand on your shoulder and just kind of lead you out the door.
This humanity thing's going to be a pain in the neck, I feel like.
Trust me, it always is. Make our way out of the building and right back to the van.
No worries. In the meantime, Acer, have you been up to anything?
Just helping Medico as much as humanly possible, getting the mundane things out of the way.
The help is appreciated. She sends you more of a lackey, essentially, the entire time, having you fetch her supplies so she doesn't have to leave the room, maybe watching the room briefly so she can take a bathroom break, or sending you out the clipboard to make rounds to check on, make sure everybody's sleeping properly. Occasionally, she does hand you a bottle of sleep meds and instructs you on the exact dosage on what is allowed per person to take with you, just in case somebody complains about insomnia. Genghis is there for a good another hour or so, and you instinctively kind of give him a wide berth or downright head in a different direction.
From the footage that I've seen, does he usually take about like an hour to do his thing?
Anywhere between an hour to two. He never seems to do anything outwardly aggressive. He just seems to always be touring. He stops into a room here and there, presumably to feed his fill. Usually takes a little bit from multiple rooms at a time. He doesn't seem to take too much from one individual for long. But after about an hour and a half or so, you do see, as you walk by one of the windows, him and his group pull out of the very large van.
Okay, cool. I'll do some extra rounds, kind of look in on the people that they were feeding on, just to make sure that they're okay and nothing bad has happened.
You go through the rounds, and it takes you a bit to try and map out at every room that Genghis and his crew had been in. Most of them seem a little disorientated, a little sleepy. No one, by what you could tell, is in aggressively ill health, but it's obvious they're a little woozy. From your experience on feeding occasionally to your disgruntlement on humans that survive, this seems pretty normal. There's a certain euphoria that comes with normal kindred, not quite to the extent that when you do it, because you unfortunately don't lack the capacity to produce a full bite. But you get the sense that most are okay, though there is one thing that concerns you. And I'll leave this up to you if you decide you want to go inside. For as you walk through the rooms, take your rounds, you stop by one door in particular. As you recognize Clara, the younger individual that Grayson seems to hang around with on occasion. It's close to 10 o'clock at night, and you appear in her room, and she's awake. And she's sitting at her desk with all the lights on in the room. And she appears to be drawing.
Did I finish the rest of my rounds?
You got some left.
I'll stop in really quick. I'll just kind of knock on the door and just be like, hey.
Peek your head like, what?
You okay? It's pretty late.
I'm fine. Just drawing. You hear a rapid scratching of pencil on paper.
If you don't mind what you're drawing. I love looking at art, really.
Do you try and step into the room, or do you just stay where you
No,
are?
I'm going to stay at the door. I'm not going to invade her space at all.
She turns to peek at you for a moment. It's like, it's private.
Okay, that's fair. Just,
She aggressively flips a page and keeps scratching.
Can I see from here if they are drawings, or is she writing something?
It's hard to see from your angle. Go ahead and make a wits plus awareness.
3.
3. As she flips a page, you catch a very brief image as she kind of leans back a little bit to flip the page very aggressively. It's a very large sketchbook. It doesn't look like a drawing per se. It honestly looks like a big scratching of a black circle just over and over and over again before she flips the page, and she seems to be going right back at it.
Okay, well, be sure to get your rest, exhaustion's not really such a good thing. Trust me, I know.
She doesn't answer. She just keeps going away at her sketchbook.
Okay. Good night. And I just close the door.
Close the door. Do you stay behind?
For like a second more.
She continues scratching on. And she just seems to be in this repetitive motion for maybe 5 or 6 minutes where she's just scratching the sketchbook, turn the page, and just keep going very aggressively. Almost like she's in the zone for something, but you're not much of an artist yourself. But you would think when you're in that kind of momentum, she'd be doing something elaborate. But that brief glimpse of an image you saw, it's weird. But this is a treatment facility. You have no idea what really goes on in this girl's head.
Well, I don't have the silver tongue that Grayson does, so I guess I'll just mention it to him and leave her be. Take one more step back and try to peek through the window again.
You peek through the window, and you jump as you see Claire has spun around on the stool and is looking at the window at your eyes. And she just stares at the window for a minute.
I'm going to lean a little bit to see if her eyes follow me.
They do. She doesn't blink. She doesn't move. She just watches you through the window.
Is it more of a... Okay, this is starting to freak me out. Is it more of a angry, I know you're watching me, or is it more of like a blank stare?
Go ahead and make a wits plus insight.
All right. Oh, shit. Crit 4.
Just by reading your expression, you know this glass is two-way. You can see through, they can see out. It's designed that way. So that way, if someone needs help, they can look for help. And you can see in, obviously, at all times. She is looking at you, and the longer you maintain eye contact as her eyes follow you, as you kind of lean out, then peek back in, then lean out, peek back in a few times just to test her, the more obviously irritated she's getting.
Okay,
but she never blinks. She just watches you every time.
All right, this is definitely a pissed off go away thing. So I'm just gonna nod and just walk away. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna leave that for Grayson.
And you walk off. Try and do the rest of your rounds, trying your best to put that thought out of your mind. Moving back to Crescent and Grayson. Anything else as you guys step outside of the city hall and make your way back to the van where Rudy still happily nursing his cup of coffee. He gives you a brief wave as he walks around to the other side of the van and gets back into the driver's seat. Wait, boss, where are we heading to next? We down for the night? We going home?
One last thing. Do you know where Danica lives?
I believe her address is in my phone.
Okay, cool. I want to go over there and just check.
For sure. No problem.
Yeah, I just want to give her a check, and then we're heading back to the facility after that.
He puts the car in drive and takes a moment and pulls out into the street. He has to stop suddenly as a car flies by and cuts him off with a honk. Crescent, you see the very similar visage of, you swear to God, that old lady just fly by. As he goes, motherfucker. Damn. People drive like idiots in the city. And he pulls out. It's not long before you guys begin hitting a residential area off one of the many exits of Seattle. Maybe about 10, 20 minutes outside the city. It's a nice little area. The rain's starting to come down a bit harder as it gets later into the evening. The wind beginning to howl. Causes the van to ricochet a little bit as he's going down the highway. But he does pull off in this residential area, take a few lefts as he kind of checks over his phone casually every now and then, make sure he's heading the right way. 25 minutes. You pull up to a house. It is a single-story house of modest size, but it's nice on the outside. Well-cut grass, though a little long, but it's winter. Most people don't cut their grass for this time of year. No fence in the front yard, a single tree just growing out very large. All of its leaves already hit the grass and gone. There are no lights on in the house. It is a white house in the front with a large garage, a single window up by the door on the right side as you have to walk a slide path to kind of get around the front of the garage to the actual front door. No lights seem to be on, and the porch light also seems to be off as well.
Did you want me to wait here? Because it doesn't seem like she's home.
I'm just going to go look around real quick just to make sure. I'm sure she's just taking leave, but I just...
Yeah.
Quell an itch of mine. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'm going to exit the vehicle and I'm going to make my way to her place.
You go around the path towards the front door?
Yes.
The porch light is off.
Is there any windows or anything like that?
There is a large front window. As you kind of lean over, the blinds are closed shut. Do you knock on the door? Do you try and make your presence known?
I am going to knock on the door.
The third knock, the door moves open, as if it wasn't fully shut.
Fuck. I'm going to turn back to the van and I'm going to motion for Crescent.
Rudy, keep the car running if you can.
I know the drill, as he already leans back on Scrooge's coffee.
Hey, we appreciate you.
Go ahead and make a charisma check.
God damn it!
Every little step. You got this.
You know, I'm so good at charisma, okay? My one dice really does me a lot. Fail!
He looks over to you. Is this a regular failure or a bestial failure?
It's just, I rolled one dice. It's just regular.
Okay. I just thought that was a blood dice, so making sure.
Yeah, it's just one blood dice and it's just a blank failure.
He looks at you as you give this very over-exaggerated smile and thumbs up, but you kind of just look really hard at him. And he goes, I see what you're trying to do. Less crazy.
I'm really working on it.
Less crazy.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
I just have this image of Rudy just going, I see what you're trying to do, but stop it.
All right, and I will make my way to Grayson.
You come around the front just as Grayson is standing there. He's kind of in mid-motion, the door partially ajar and dark on the inside.
This is for sure her house?
This is for sure her house, and the third time I knocked, the damn door just slowly opened. As I'm taking out my gloves and I'm putting them on.
Open the door very carefully, peering inside. It is very dark. Looking inside, a little bit of the street light kind of filters in through the front of the house. You can see partially opening into a living room, but there's no lights on that you can see.
Danica?
Nothing.
Danica, it's me.
Nothing. It's quiet.
Do I notice anything amiss? I'm going to step inside a little bit.
Go ahead and make a wits plus awareness. However, you cannot really see in the dark too well.
Ooh, shit. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
4 successes. So take a cautious step inside, looking, listening. It is extremely quiet. Kind of leaning over to one side, you kind of feel it on the roll, and you feel your hand hits some kind of switch if you want to flick it.
I will flick it.
You flick on what appears to be a living room light. light quickly opens up in the front of the area. There's a very large TV off on a very nice, maybe antique type of stand, something that you would definitely see in Grayson's office. She has a very large ornate table out the front living room with a very plush sofa, but blankets are folded neatly on the couch itself. The table is clean and organized. You don't see any signs of a struggle or anything amiss. It's just very clean in here. Makes sense for Danica from what you remember. She was always kind of like Grayson in that respect. But peering in, you do see from this living room, there is a long hallway that seems to extend out to a kitchen area and also a bank to the left. Light kind of filtering into that area. Nothing looks broken or amiss from here, and it's still very quiet.
I'm going to keep searching around. In fact, I'm going to make my way up to her room.
I will kind of go opposite direction just to cover our bases.
You both kind of split apart to investigate what you can. Crescent, go ahead and make a Woods Plus investigation.
2 successes.
2 successes. As you begin moving in kind of the opposite direction, you manage to kind of peek into the kitchen area. No plates in the sink. No evidence that someone has eaten recently. The stove is cold. There's no pots or pans out. No food out. You peek around, go to the hallway. You can see in her laundry room, there's fresh laundry, folded neatly on top of the dryer, untouched, but it's folded. You can see a closet that's slightly opened, as if forgot to be closed, and you kind of grab a door and open it and peek inside into the garage. Her car is still there. Grayson, you open the door to her room. As you've been here once or twice, open the room and it's dark. You reach over and you flick on the light.
Yes, I do.
You flick on the light. You do see that there are suitcases on the bed. Open, half packed. The bed is made neatly. Doesn't really look like signs of a struggle, but then something catches your eye and you wince back just instinctively as you see a single rose sitting on the bed.
Fuck.
Her things are still here, and there's this odd flower just sitting there, bright red and starting to wither and die.
Is it placed very, like, auspiciously, as in, like, it was put in a specific spot, like, directly in, like, the center of her bed or something like that, so that I would notice?
Set directly on top of the bed in a place to be easily seen. Almost on purpose.
Holding my face back as it's, like, protect from the smell. I see that. I can't help if my teeth come out a little bit.
Crescent, you come back in the room to see Grayson just veering back. You see that darkened shadow of his face as his beast manifests towards the surface, fangs pierced out as he seems to cover the front of his face. As you can see on the bed, that same single rose, half withered, as if it's been there for some time.
I'm so fucking stupid. I did this. I'll say this out loud. I shouldn't have told her.
Didn't do anything.
Shouldn't have asked her. Stupid.
Grayson, you didn't do anything.
Someone did.
Yes, someone else did. None of this is your fault.
God, because
I'm gonna
it's
get her
a
back.
fucking foul flower.
Get your head together. We are going to get her back. We're going to find who did this, and they are going to pay. I'm here with you now. It's
Look
going
around.
to be okay.
Just look around the room. I'm going to search elsewhere. Someone wanted us to find this, and they know something about me to leave that there. They're shoving it in my face, and I want to know who.
Okay. And I'll immediately go searching.
Go make a Wits Plus investigation. I'm assuming you're looking around as well, Grayson?
I am, and I'm going to check any other rooms.
I'd like to expend a bit of willpower.
Go ahead. Grayson, Wits Plus investigation as well. Since you're making your own investigation.
Yes.
Oh, so much better. Okay, 3 successes.
3 successes, and you're checking her room specifically.
Grayson told me to check everywhere. I'm checking everywhere.
Okay.
Only 1.
1. Well, we'll start with you, Grayson. It's very hard to stay focused right now. You're searching everywhere, but you're not really sure what to find. Everything looks immaculate. It looks clean. In fact, impressively clean for your standards. A slight layer of dust, as if someone hasn't been here in a while. But looking over, what strikes you as odd is that she seemed to be in the middle of leaving. Maybe the email she sent you was legitimate. You do get the sense that when you offered to ghoul her, you do remember the look she gave you. It wasn't fear, per se, or disgust. It was concern. You had just recently been pummeled with rubble, heavily injured, unconscious, practically, and then just the next day you offered to bring her deeper into this fold. And that kind of memory plays over and over in your mind again. You know Danica's a sensible woman. She wouldn't just vanish. You get the sense that maybe she needed time to think. You presented a lot towards her. It's kind of dawning on you how much you suddenly put in front of her before you realize that you're sitting down just looking around her room, realizing in this moment how much you miss her at your center. And you start getting lost in this thought of what's happened. Something has happened. Something has happened. Something has happened. And you quickly lose sight of focus. And you just kind of get lost in this spiraling, conflicted thought pattern. Well, Crescent, with 3 successes. Everything to the untrained eye looks almost immaculate. And to most, they would probably miss what you find. Looking around, all the windows are secure and locked. Everything seems like someone just walked home and then just left without even a second thought. Left everything behind. Suitcases, toiletries. You even find Danica's car keys and ID left behind. There is nothing to indicate that she would have just walked out. And you rack your brain. This makes no sense. Then you think, but hold on. Her car keys and her wallet are still here. And the door was open. So you rush to the front door. And you look at the deadbolts very closely. There's some scratching on the deadbolts. Someone picked this lock open, and almost perfectly. That's how they did it. Someone slipped in through this front door while Danica was packing. And she never saw them coming.
Grayson.
What is it? Did you find something?
Do you see the scratch marks here? Somebody snuck in. I don't know who, but it has to be somebody who knows you. It has to be someone who would know about the roses, who would know about everything, who would know about your relationship to her.
They would have to know me intimately to know about the roses. I haven't told anybody about that. Storyteller, can I try and think back to somebody in the past, maybe?
Go ahead and roll your wits dice. Just to see if anything comes to mind. Anything in particular, anything that you may have thought of.
2 successes.
2 successes.
Yeah.
Well, there's been times where Danica has tried to give you flowers, and you have unfortunately made a scene in front of your staff at times. But you don't think they would do something like this. You don't really recall any kindred that's necessarily seen you like this. To your knowledge, you haven't really told anyone besides your coterie.
The only other person that would know is Mariko.
And she's been living at the center for the past week.
Just to say, I mean, like everything else, I don't think they were working alone either. We are going to figure this out. And when I find whoever did this, I want her back too.
I just want Eleanor cleared. Take me back to the center. Please.
That I'm going to take Marvin very carefully, put it around Crescent as we make our way out of the house, and very gently close the door.
You're guided back to the back of the van. Rudy looks over to you like he's about to say something, but then sees your face and thinks better of it. He just looks at you and goes, "Going home, boss?"
We're going home, Rudy.
Gotcha. The van's still on. He downs the rest of his coffee, spins the thermos. As he drives home, taking less obvious routes, back streets, bridges, he somehow, you could tell he's able to read the atmosphere in this van suddenly. He's not taking the same ways he normally comes. Your mind thinks of tasks. The prince has given you orders. That needs to be done. Your center is under possible siege. That needs to be done next. So you have this ghost problem. That somehow needs to be handled. And you're just repeating it. Priority list. One after another. Until finally you hear... Part of the door handle to your right just kind of crushes underneath you as you flex your hand and let go. Just tasks, one at a time. Prince, Genghis, Danica. Prince, Danica, Genghis, Prince. And for once, as you begin to pull into the center, you're having a hard time gauging priority. So many things have fucking happened at once. And you're now finding you are stuck. You barely notice Rudy say goodbye to you as you help Crescent inside to see a very large crossed-armed Michael. As Acer, during your rounds, Michael showed about an hour ago. And he has not said a fucking word to you as you've been entertaining him. But as everyone comes in, you can see a hardened look on Grayson's face as he gently just passes Crescent off to Michael. Crescent, you feel a very large hand of Michael on your shoulder. And you just hear him lean down and whisper, "Move." And he pushes you very gently to the center.
I'm kind of getting to the end of my willpower. I just want comfort. I want that embraceful comfort of Eleonora, and I'm kind of losing control a little bit.
Michael begins to push Crescent very gently as he looks over to you, Grayson. Where's her room?
Chapel, she has a room behind it.
Got it.
Please take care of her.
As long as I'm awake, she ain't going anywhere tonight.
Grayson, don't lock me up.
Haley, please go and rest.
I can't.
She can. We will still be here.
I can't do this.
She can. I've proven you wrong once.
Michael leans in, speaking very softly to your Crescent. You know what you are, and you know what you've done. You are stronger than this. You've got more than just Lasombra in you, and you know that. So walk, and I will not leave you tonight. Show me where your room is.
And I will stand up straighter and show him where it is.
Grayson, you were close enough to hear this, even though it was in a very low tone. And strangely enough, as she straightens up and walks with Michael, a hand on her shoulder, they walk almost eerily similar. If you didn't know any better, it's like they were of the same clan.
It snaps me out of my mindset for a moment, seeing that if I didn't know any better, Crescent, you have something else. I turn to Acer, a bit of the shock on my face, but I use that momentum. Acer, let's go to your room. I can fill you in. As I go on the radio really quick. Rudy, just thanks for the work. And that goes, and I switch to a public channel, and thank you, everybody. This is Mr. Holland, just letting you all know you're doing a great job. As I click off the radio and put it back in my belt.
Grayson, you spend the rest of the evening filling in Acer on the events of the night. The information that you all found. Acer, do you share anything specifically with Grayson as well?
Well, at the risk of adding more to his plate, I'm definitely going to tell him about those weird scribbles.
Shit.
Look, I'm probably going to do something Danica's going to hate a little later, but she is on my payroll, so I have more information on her than normal people. I can give it a scan if you need.
I think we're past that point of privacy, so if she still has a phone or something on her, do you think you can track it?
Some things with me never change, friend. I bug everyone who works for me.
Acer, I know I don't say it enough, but I truly appreciate your help.
Hey, we're a coterie, right? Gotta stick together.
Agreed. So I kind of give him a light tap and take my hand off of him.
Grayson slowly and very quietly leaves you alone in your lab, Acer. The night begins to draw to a close very quickly, as so many questions hang in the air. The prince's task ever looming, unknown how much time one has to deal with this, but its importance constantly rivaled by one's own personal undeath of life. For now, this is where we pause our story. All these problems that hang in the air, so little time to address them collectively. How will our coterie fare? How will our coterie handle this? And what complications are going to further arise as a result? As always, we thank you all for joining us tonight. And if you do enjoy the stream, don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more wonderful vampiric drama. As we do, as always, greatly appreciate you attending tonight. But for now, stay safe out there, my friends, and we'll see you all next time.